ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of Let's Play Warframe. I'm your host with the most, as always, Francois878, and today we are going to be taking a look, finally, at Octavia, the music frame, the bard, and her abilities, and we're going to be talking about my build that I've been using. Obviously, this is all subjective, and you guys don't need to take anything I say seriously as far as builds go. It's completely up to you, because Octavia is definitely one of those frames you can build however the hell you want, and you will have fun with her. She is awesome. But she is, her blueprint is obtained from Octavia's Anthem, which you can get from Cephalon Suda, regardless of whether you're allied with her syndicate, and you have to have Second Dream finished as well. Her kit is really synergy-based. Like, her first three abilities kind of all have to be running at the same time for you to get the most out of this frame. You can't really... I mean, you can just use her third ability, but I feel like really to get the most fun and to make the third ability to make the third ability really extremely viable, you need to have all three running. The first ability that Octavia has is called Mallet. It basically throws down a little grenade that will play a part of your custom song and deal damage in an area of effect. Very basic, not very good. Second ability, another part of your custom song, as well as summoning a roller ball that will charm enemies into attacking it and distracting them from shooting you. It's really her only form of soft CC that she has, and it's very unreliable. It just wanders around, so when you need it, it's basically not there. Metronome is her third ability. Again, it plays the final portion of your custom song, as well as granting specific buffs depending on if you complete certain actions to the beat of your custom song. So if you fire your gun, you're getting a multi-shot buff. If you're going to jump, you get a speed buff. Crouch is invisibility, and melee swings is melee damage. Her fourth ability is just a big AoE blanket of a damage buff depending on the sound that is currently going on in that area. It's a very interesting passive damage buffing ability, honestly, and it gives it gives Molecular Prime a run for its money. For sure. Obviously, Molecular Prime still has that CC that Octavia is desperately missing, but it's still a really solid... The actual damage buff that you get from Amp is crazy. Now, these are the builds that I'm going to show off to you. These are... that first build was high duration with medium strength, medium range, and low efficiency. I cast very expensive abilities that last a very long time, and because I'm running Energy Siphon and Xeneric, as well as Octavia's passive, which is once she activates an ability, all yourself and all allies will regenerate 1 energy a second for 30 seconds. Basically, that's my strategies. I use a lot of high energy abilities and hope that I have regened enough by the end, pretty much. But this, the second two builds are slightly different. I'm taking Stretch off and putting on a Fleeting Expertise, which affects my efficiency. And actually, I have two different builds, one with a max Fleeting Expertise and one that's just rank 2 of 5 Fleeting Expertise. And that kind of gives me a little bit of a different range on how that affects my duration versus my efficiency. The thing with Octavia is she can be built any different way you want, guys. If you want to go high power strength, that's fine. I will say that duration is very, very important. All of her abilities rely on duration, as well as the buffs from Metronome. Metronome is an amazing ability, and I would highly recommend taking advantage of it. Amp is an amazing ability that I highly recommend taking advantage of. it's great. Basically just laying down an AoE blanket that is on automatic damage buff. The first build that I showed you, the 154% power strength, I was getting a 3.0 damage multiplier on that with just 150%. Can you imagine a max power strength build? It's insane. Now, obviously, the big issue with AMP is that it doesn't move with you, and it also provides no form of crowd control. So I would argue that Nova and Rhino are still very viable, because Nova has CC on Molecular Prime, and Rhino also has CC on other abilities. And and the thing with Metronome is that, yes, you are getting a lot of damage buffs from the multi-shot and the melee damage buff, but the multi-shot mod isn't crazy impressive. Again, you'd have to nearly max out your power strength to really get absurd levels of multi-shot, and arguably, if you had a Banshee set up similarly, Sonar would give you as much, if not more, damage if built correctly. So she's Octavia. The issue with Octavia is she combines all of those frames together, and that's what makes her so good. Her survivability is really low because she definitely lacks reliable CC, like all those other frames I just mentioned. And she also has some performance issues, which I promised myself I would talk about. I've heard a lot of complaints on Reddit and on the forums about activating certain abilities and seeing significant frame rate drops. I've experienced this myself. Whenever I use Metronome, I will get about a second or a second and a half of massive frame rate drop from a solid 60 to about 50, 48-ish. I have never had an issue running this game, ever. And the fact that this is happening on Octavia and has happened through multiple hotfixes really worries me. So, well, I really like Octavia, and I thought her quest was great, and she's got a really unique, interesting kit. I probably won't really use her very much just based on that performance issue until they get it fixed. Thank you very much for coming, guys. Let me know what you think in the comments section down below. And as always, I've been your host with the most.